On your screen, you'll see a list of agenda items that we plan to cover during the session. We'll discuss the program, admission requirements, and resources available to distance learners. We'll also share some information about the University of Alabama and the Capstone College of Nursing. We'll hold a question and answer period at the end of the session. To ask a question, just type it in the text box found on the bottom left-hand side of the screen like this. Feel free to type your questions in the box during the session. We'll address your questions at the end of the presentation. We're recording the session. The recorded session will be placed on our website for future reference. We'll provide you with a link to the recorded session in an email that we'll send out in the next few days. Now I'll turn the session over to Ms. Katara Wilson.
Hello again, and so we'll just talk a little bit about our program, and like Brooke said, if you have any questions, just jot those down and we'll be happy to answer those at the end. So just looking at some advantages and benefits of our program, you do get the opportunity to learn from highly skilled faculty, those faculty who understand that the students enrolled in our program are working nurses that have lives and other things going on, so we understand that life happens. So our faculty have been trained and are very well student-centered and really try to take care of our students. So you also get the opportunity to earn a degree from a nationally recognized and respected institution. Your degree will never be questioned from the University of Alabama for anything, and we are accredited by the Alabama Board of Nursing and the Commission on Collegiate Nursing Education. So as you can see here, our typical students are licensed RN. The majority of them, about 99% of our students, work full-time as RNs and complete our program online. You can see their ages range between 21 and 66, so I'm hoping that that covers pretty much everybody that's in here, and the average age is about 34. And we have students located all over the country, and the majority of our students are female. So our courses are delivered in an online format. There are 6 online nursing courses. Students are not required to travel to campus for any course requirements. And our courses are set up to be asynchronous, so meaning that you're not going to be required to log on Monday nights at 7 p.m. for lecture. All of the lectures are recorded to allow students that flexibility of looking at those and getting that information based on their schedule. So again, the RN to BSN is designed for currently licensed nurses who want their bachelor's degree in a convenient format. Our list of prerequisites, we prefer that they are completed prior to students enrolling in online nursing courses. However, if students are missing one prerequisite, we will look at that and make a determination based on their admission of just completing that one class along with the nursing courses. So we do look at those on case-by-case basis. So for the RN to BSN, those 6 classes are completed over 3 semesters. So students take 2 classes a semester for 3 consecutive semesters. And again, these are students that are working full-time as nurses, and they enroll in 2 classes each semester to complete our program. And on this slide, you will see that list of the 6 courses that students complete while enrolled in the program. We do also have an option for an RN to BSN to MSN program. During this program, students will earn both the bachelor's degree and the master's degree at the end. The 2 options that students have are case management and nurse administration. And it was designed for those students who are trying to save a little bit of money and time to get both degrees completed. And again, you can specialize in either case management or nurse administration. So to talk a little bit about the clinical requirements, Dr. Michelle Cheshire is going to give you some information.
Thank you. As Katara has already mentioned, this program is completely online, but there are clinical requirements in 2 of the 6 online courses. Those courses are Community Health and Leadership in Management. Community Health is taught in the 2nd semester of our program, and students are required to log 16 hours with a preceptor. These hours are done in a community health setting outside of the acute care hospital setting. Those can be done, students work to set these up themselves, and we work in conjunction with them to make sure it's a good agency for them to complete those hours in. But those are, of course, done where you're living in your geographical area. And then the second course that students have to log clinical hours in is the Leadership and Management course. That's offered in the final semester of the program. Those hours are done typically in the agency where the nurse is already working with someone in a leadership or management position in their hospital. Many of our students come to us and they're already in a leadership or management position, so we just ask for them to work with somebody that's a little bit higher in the management situation than they are. Those are not direct patient care hours. You aren't taking care of patients during those hours. You're simply working on a quality improvement project to implement or to propose to be implemented in that agency. The RN to BSN to MSN program, those hours are also typically done in the place of employment. Once you finish with the BSN courses required in the RN to BSN to MSN, the MSN faculty take over in that situation. And if you are interested in some specific information about those clinicals, you can get in touch with Vicki Samuel in the graduate program.
So looking at the application deadlines, let me say first of all, admission into the program is kind of a 2-step process. So the first thing that students need to do is to submit an application to the University of Alabama itself. Once you've done that and submitted all of your official transcripts, someone here in Student Services, either myself or Ms. Andrea Foster, will complete an evaluation for you to help you with those prerequisite requirements and all of that. Now, these application deadlines that are listed on the slide are the application deadlines to enroll in the online nursing courses for whichever start date you want, summer, spring, or fall. So we do admit students for the RN to BSN program every single semester. So students that want to start for summer, we would prefer that the application be in by March 1st. Now, none of these are hard deadlines. We accept applications all the time after the deadline. So even after today, if you realize, hey, I actually have everything and I want to start this summer, and clearly it's after March 1st, just contact me and let me know, and we'll be more than happy to work with you to get you in for summer if that's what you choose to do. The application that you complete for the College of Nursing itself, there is no application fee for it, and I supply that to students that are ready to enroll in those online nursing classes. But again, the first step is to apply to UA. For the RN to BSN to MSN, we only accept students in that program in the summer. So if you want to do that combined program, that would be a summer start date. And depending on which MSN program you were interested in, I would contact the graduate department to see if they were taking late applications, because their application deadline is a little bit different than ours. But I would be happy to contact them for you to find out if you could still submit for the summer. So looking at the admission requirements for the RN to BSN, again, we want you to have an active RN license, a 2.5 GPA, that's in reference to the prerequisite courses that are required, and then a 2.0 GPA in the 4 science courses that we require. We again want you to have all of the prerequisites or the core curriculum completed, and you have to have graduated from a nursing program that is accredited by the Accrediting Commission for Education in Nursing. If you are unsure of your program's accreditation, you can email me the name and location of your program, and I'll be happy to look that up for you and let you know before you apply to UA. The RN to BSN to MSN admission requirements are kind of the same. The biggest difference is their GPA requirement is you have to have at least a 3.0 GPA overall to be considered for admission into that program, but the other items are the same.
Thank you, Katara. Now I'll talk a little bit about tuition. Distance learning students pay a flat rate hourly tuition regardless of their residency. The rate does not include any applicable course fees or books. Students have the option to purchase access to the Student Health Center and the Student Recreation Center. Unfortunately, you must be enrolled as a campus student in order to be eligible for athletic tickets. The College of Continuing Studies offers scholarships to students who are enrolled in degree programs facilitated through continuing studies. You must be currently admitted or accepted for admission in order to apply. Applications are accepted year-round and scholarships are awarded each semester. This concludes our presentation. We will now answer your questions. Go ahead and type any questions you have into the chat box in the left-hand corner of your screen. India asks, how many clinical hours for the leadership portion?
Students have to log 45 hours over the entire semester for that course.
Desiree asks, when will summer courses begin?
Classes begin on Wednesday, May the 29th.
Okay. Sydney asks, where is the list of prerequisites?
It can be found on our website, nursing.ua.edu. I'll type that in the chat box. And when you get to that website, if you just click on RN to BSN in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a link immediately under that picture that says prerequisite/core requirements, and they can be found there.
Okay. Shirley asked, when do we hear about acceptance?
Typically, it will be a couple of weeks after the posted due date. Now, if students do late applications, I still need, a few days to get that process, but it doesn't normally take that long to get a decision. But now, if you applied in February and the deadline is in March, usually it's going to be a couple of weeks after that deadline before you get an email from me.
Tina asked, who do I contact to find out if my diploma program was ACEN accredited?
You are welcome to send me an email and give me the name and location of your program, and I'll be happy to look that up for you. My email address is listed on the screen right now, so feel free to send me an email of the name of your school and the location, and I'll get that answered for you.
Okay. Desiree asks, when is tuition for summer due?
Bills, I think, are going to be available and posted for students on April the 15th, and I think it's due sometime in May. I don't know, I would have to look at the calendar for student receivables, but they do provide that information through email to students, and it's also in my BAMA.
Okay. Jessica asked, does the distance learning program work with the VA on matters of tuition? Jessica, yes, we do. Michelle, would you mind to put in James Shamley's email information, and you could email him and he could answer any questions you have about working with the VA for tuition for distance learning. Look, Herbert asked, if we are too late to do summer MSN, will the same requirements be effective next semester after we graduate, or will we need to start admission all over?
It will be the same admission requirements, Lakibra. You will just submit at that point a graduate application. So you'll finish, if you just start the BSN this summer, then you would graduate in May of next year with your BSN, and the graduate application, their deadline is March 1st of every year. So you could just submit an application for the graduate school next year in the spring semester to start those classes in the fall of 20 is basically when you would start. But it's the same admission requirement.
Okay. Kendra asked, how long is transfer application to the University of Alabama good for? Is it 2 years?
Well, it depends on when you apply and you say whatever your term of enrollment is. So if you applied and you chose spring of 20 as your enrollment term, it does cover you for basically a year after that. But you could apply up to 2 years before you plan to come. So that's something that the admissions office started so that students can see where they are with the prerequisites and kind of log their progress in degree work. And it helps me and Andrea Foster also work with you with those degree requirements. So again, if you choose spring 20 as your admit term, it covers you for spring 20, summer 20, and fall 20 enrollment. I hope that makes sense. It wasn't too confusing.
Okay. India asked, if I graduate from my ADN program on May 9th, would it be best if I apply for the fall semester?
India, you can start in the summer if you have all of your core requirements completed. Students do not, you will sit for the NCLEX obviously this summer. Students do not have to have passed the NCLEX or have their RN license until the second semester of the program, because that is when there is a clinical course. So you certainly, if you're graduating in May and going to be ready, you can start with us in the summer. That'll give you the summer to take the first 2 courses as well as take your NCLEX.
Okay. Karen asked, I've already been accepted to start this summer. How do I find out how to register for classes and which prerequisites I need?
Karen, typically what happens is if you've been admitted to UA, we here then in the College of Nursing will receive your name and CWID, and either myself or Andrea Foster will send you an email with your evaluation done that tells you where you are with the prerequisites and helps you determine when you're going to be eligible to enroll in the online nursing courses. Now, if you have not received that information from either one of us yet, will you please send me an email with your CWID, and I will look at that as soon as I get the email, and we can kind of help see where you are for summer and get you the information that you need if you're ready to enroll.
Sydney asks, as long as prerequisites and GPA is correct, is acceptance usually assured?
Sydney, as long as students meet the minimum requirements, we to date do not have a cap on our enrollment. So yes, if you meet the minimum requirements, typically students are guaranteed admission.
Okay. The next question is, how do we apply for the North Mississippi Medical Center Scholarship?
I'm not sure. I don't have any information on that scholarship. So I would suggest either contacting the healthcare facility and, asking them, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay, Gloria asked, I have a previous bachelor's degree in non-nursing, so most of my prerequisites are more than 4 years old. How current does your prerequisites have to be?
We do not have a time limit on those prerequisites, Gloria, so whether you took them 2 years ago or 20 years ago, it's fine with us. So once you submit all of your transcripts from everywhere that you've attended, we will look through those to look for credit for any of those prerequisites that you need.
Kendra asked, does the program allow you to have payment installments? Thank you for your answers.
The Student Receivables Office will allow students to set up payment plans. Now, I do know that there is like a deadline that you have to submit the request for the payment plan. So what I would suggest is if you have already enrolled in classes or if you're planning to enroll, that you go to their website, which is just studentreceivables.ua.edu or studentaccounts.ua.edu. Either one will get you there. And they do have a link on their page that has information for payment plans and how to set that up.
Okay, India asked, how many hours are required for the first semester?
India, I'm assuming you're referring to credit hours for courses and not clinical hours, because again, there are no clinical hours in the first semester, but the first 2 courses that students take in the program is a total of 7 credit hours. So 2 classes, one that's 4 credit hours and one that's 3 for a total of 7.
Megan Miner, how many hours of community health clinical hours?
Megan, that's 16 hours. In community health, students can do those in 2 days. You can spread those out 4 hours over 4 days, but it is only 16 hours of preceptive clinical hours in that course.
Okay, Jessica asked, do we need to email someone separately when we apply if we just have one prerequisite we are missing?
I would suggest, yes, Jessica, if you would, if it's before you get an evaluation from me, if you just want to email me and say, hey, Katara or Michelle, and say, hey, I know that I'm only missing one prereq and I really want to get started for the summer or the fall, what are my next steps? I would definitely say yes, send an email to me and just let me know that so that when I get your name, I'll know that you are pretty much ready to get started.
Okay, how much is tuition?
Well, currently tuition is $364 per credit hour for undergraduates and $394 per credit hour for graduates.
When is the deadline to apply for the fall?
The posted deadline we have is June the 1st for the College of Nursing, but I would suggest if you are interested in fall that you go ahead and apply to the University of Alabama now. Submit your application and you can choose fall 2019 as your admit term, and then once you've been admitted, that will then prompt us here in the College of Nursing Student Services to look at your prerequisites and do that evaluation for you.
Okay, please repeat the tuition, Irene said.
So it's $364 per credit hour for undergraduate courses and $394 per credit hour for graduate courses. Now, tuition is subject to change. That's what the current tuition rate is through the end of summer semester 2019.
Okay, did we have to complete BSN before we apply to the nurse practitioner program?
Yes, the RN to BSN to MSN does not include the nurse practitioner program. So yes, students do complete the RN to BSN program and then can apply to the MP program.
Okay, Desiree asked, when are we allowed to register if we have already received the email saying we have the prerequisites?
You should have received an email telling you which courses then that you would need to enroll in for the summer. And as long as your registration time is open, you can register now.
Hey, Gloria asked, if you're missing just one prerequisite, can you take it during your first semester of RN to BSN?
Gloria, that's handled on a case-by-case basis. It depends on lots of things. We look at the student's overall academic record as well as which prerequisite it is. If you will email myself or Katara about that, then we can look at it. We do that on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, well, it looks like we do not have any other questions right now. We will conclude this session. Thank you so much all for your participation. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact myself, Katara, or Dr. Michelle. Thank you so much, and roll Tide.